Good morning, children. Let us start our day with the thought for the day. The thought is the problem is not that there are problems, the problem is expecting otherwise and thinking that having a problem is a problem. It means even if there are difficult situations, opportunities come along with those situations. So don't look towards the problem as a problem, but think it otherwise. There will be always some positive outcomes from any difficult situation. A quick revision of what we have learned till now. Our lesson number 21, The Journey to the Great Oz, is a part taken from the very well known fantasy book The Wizard of Oz. The main lead, Dorothy, along with her dog Toto, was whisked away by the cyclone in the wonderland of Oz. There she was advised that she should go to the Emerald City to meet and see the great Wizard of Oz, because according to the people it was only the great Oz, Wizard of Oz, who could help her to reach her back to her country. In her journey towards the Emerald City, she met Scarecrow, who required brains, Tin Woodman, who required heart, and the Lion, who required some courage. But till now, whatever we have understood from the story, it is the Scarecrow who is giving very intelligent suggestions, and the Lion, who required courage, is acting very bravely. So please be ready with page number 53. Though we have read this paragraph, we will start again with that. Put your pencil on the word the Scarecrow. It is the third paragraph, first line. I hope all are ready with that. So please read along with me. Put your pencil on the word the Scarecrow, and here we go. The Scarecrow sat upon the lion's back, and the big beast walked to the edge of the gulf and crouched down. This part, though I have explained you, but let us see what it means to maintain the continuity. Whenever we have discussed this point, but still I want to put some emphasis on this point, that whenever we have to perform a long jump, we run and then we jump, isn't it? But the animals do not do in that way. The lions especially, they just bend down and then they leap forward. Why don't you run and jump? Asked the Scarecrow. Because that isn't the way we lions do these things, he replied. Then, giving a great spring, he shot through the air and landed safely on the other side. They were all greatly pleased to see how easily he did it, and after the Scarecrow had got down from his back, the lion sprang across the ditch again. So Lion explained that this was not the way we lions do. And giving a great spring, he reached to the other side and landed very safely. All were very pleased because now they could proceed forward. Dorothy thought she would go next, so she took Toto in her arms and climbed up on the lion's back, holding tightly to his mane with one hand. The next moment, it seemed as if she were flying through the air, and then, before she had time to think about it, she was safe on the other side. So next to go was Dorothy. Along with Toto, she held herself tightly, and then next moment, it appears as if they were flying in the air, and before she could think any she could think about any other issue, they were on the other side. They landed very safely. The lion went back a third time and got the Tin Woodman, and then they all sat down for a few moments to give the beast a chance to rest, for his great leaps had made his breath short, and he panted like a big dog that has been running too long. You must have observed the dogs whenever they are tired, when they have long walks or they run very fast, then they sit down and open their mouth. They take some deep breath because they are short of breath, and then when they are absolutely okay, they come back to their original position. Same way, the lion was also out of breath because he had to jump so many times to carry all of them safely to the other side. So he was just sitting like a big dog, panting. Next paragraph, if anybody has missed the line, second paragraph. They found the forest very thick on this side and it looked dark and gloomy. Gloomy is something which is not, or I would say gloomy is depressing, something that doesn't make us happy at all. And why the forest looked dark? Because the trees had grown very close together and it was covered with thick foliage. The trees were all covered with thick foliage, all covered with leaves, and since they had grown very closely to each other, it had become very dense. And when the forest is very dense, even it does not allow the sun rays to penetrate through them, and therefore everything looked very dark. And since there was no sunlight, or we can say the sunlight was less, it looked dark. After the lion had rested, they started along the road of yellow brick, silently wondering, each in his own mind, if ever they would come to the end of the woods and reach the bright sunshine again. They were missing the sunlight very badly, and they were really thinking in their mind that if the road is going to end and whether they would be able to visit the bright sunlight again. To add to their discomfort, they soon heard strange noises in the depth of the forest, and the lion whispered to them that it was in this part of the country that the Kalidas lived. Already they all were in some sort of problem. Then crossing the ditch was again a great event. The forest was dark and gloomy, and adding to that, entry of dangerous creatures in the story, those were Kalidas. What are the Kalidas? Asked the girl. They are monstrous beasts. Monsters are imaginary monsters which are large and frightful. Such animals that would frighten anybody. They are monstrous beasts with bodies like bear and heads like tiger. So just imagine the dreadful creature looking like a bear and head like the tiger, replied the lion, and with claws so long and sharp that they could tear me in two as easily as I could kill Toto. I am terribly afraid of Kalidas. Very true, because the creatures were very dangerous, monstrous, and very powerful. Now imagine a lion and imagine a small dog. Just imagine. So the lion could easily kill a small dog. So the Kalidas were so big and enormous that they can easily kill and tear apart a big beast like lion. So you can just imagine how big, how powerful they were, how sharp their claws were, isn't it? So just turn the page number 54. I am not surprised that you are, returned Dorothy. They must be dreadful beasts. Dreadful, very bad, very dangerous. The lion was about to reply when suddenly they came to another gulf across the road. But this one was so broad and deep that the lion knew at once he could not leap across it. Now again they came across a big ditch, and now it was the situation has now become very difficult because the lion knew that this is so wide and wide or broad that it is not possible to jump to the other side. Even it was deep, so no possibility of climbing down and climbing no possibility of climbing down in the ditch and climbing up again on the other side. Sorry for that. But this one was so broad and deep that the lion knew at once he could not leap across it. So the word climbing, it appeared as a tongue twister for me. Extremely sorry about that. So let us read this paragraph once again. The lion was about to reply when suddenly they came to another gulf across the road. Now this was very wide, this was very broad. It was deep also, so it was not possible for the lion to jump across it. So they sat down to consider what they should do, and after serious thought, the scarecrow said, "Here is a great tree standing close to the ditch. If the Tin Woodman can chop it down so that it will fall to the other side, we can walk across it easily." Again, brainy idea, very intelligent idea coming from the one who required brain, the scarecrow. So at one end of the ditch stood a tall tree, and the idea was that to chop down the tree, and when it falls it will reach to the other side, making a bridge, making a sort of bridge so that the travelers can go across to the other side using this bridge made up of the tree. "This is a first-rate idea," said the lion. One would almost suspect you had brains in your head instead of straw. So wonderful idea given again by the scarecrow. We will continue reading in the second part of the video.